Okay, so a few weeks ago, Sam Altman basically put up a tweet asking people if OpenAI was to do a open source project, would it be more useful for it to be an O3 mini kind of model or a phone size model? And you can see the votes that came out of this were pretty split, with O3 mini basically winning out slightly. Now, you can certainly see when you look at the comments here, people, especially companies, have a very vested interest in here. So you've got Aaron Levy, who's the founder and CEO of Box, basically saying that don't trust the votes. People don't know what they're talking about, that people don't want local models, that they want really big models, that people want basically the best open source model possible. And you can imagine that his company probably has not a huge amount of problem running a 70B model or even a 400B model. But looking at some of the other replies to this, people seem to be landing the way that I would of why don't you do both? Jimmy Apples, obviously, is someone on Twitter who's released a bunch of leaks about OpenAI. And then we've got other people that are well known on Twitter also chiming in to ask for both. Now, this leads us up to earlier to today. And this is what this video is all about. Is that I know that many of you want to basically use open models and perhaps run them on your computer or run them somewhere locally where you don't have to put your data into the cloud. You don't have to share things. You can basically make the model uncensored, do all these kinds of things. And I feel like now here's the chance to actually let OpenAI know this. So Sam Altman tweeted out that we're excited to release a powerful new open weight model with reasoning in the coming months. And we want to talk to devs about how to make it maximally useful. So after that, we basically get them acknowledging that they haven't released an open weight LLM since GPT-2. Now, I know for most of you watching the video, you probably don't even remember GPT-2. GPT-2 was way back in February 2019. And even then, OpenAI basically declared that the model was so dangerous at 1.5 billion parameters for the biggest one, that they were going to do a structured release. So they released the smallest version, which I think was a few 100 million parameters, basically working up to something like a 700 million parameter one, long before they released the full 1.5 billion parameter one. And actually, they were kind of forced into that because Richard Socher and his team at Salesforce at the time released a really cool model called Control, which was probably deliberately 1.6 billion parameters just to show that, okay, maybe these models weren't as dangerous as OpenAI had tried to make out. And in hindsight, it certainly looks back at that time where they were clearly wrong, and perhaps it was a marketing move and a move to help them raise funds as much as it was anything about any real danger. So fast forward to today, they're basically saying that, okay, they're going to release this model. They've still got some decisions to make, and they want to hold these developer events. So while I'm somewhat suspicious about this, and I really wonder, okay, how is this actually going to go down? How much are they going to listen to people when people say they want the best model at a certain size or something like that? I do think that now is the opportunity for us as a community to be really vocal and talk about, okay, if OpenAI is saying they're going to do this and that they're really genuine about doing this, let's let them know about what we want in the model. For me personally, I think the kind of model that I would love to see them do is an Omni model. Last week, I did a video about the Qwen-2.5 Omni model in there, and that thing is fantastic that it can basically do both text in and out, audio in and out, and then video in for processing either as text out or audio out. That would be something that would be truly impressive for OpenAI to release. Now, my guess is that they're probably not going to do that because they're probably going to decide that's too close to what they've already got with perhaps the 4.0 models or something like that. But I really think that now is the time for us to basically put the pressure on them, tweet back of exactly what it is that we want, go along to these sessions. And if you want to sign up for the sessions, you can basically come to their website, sign up, let them know what it is that you want, what models you've used in the past, what are your areas of expertise, etc. And I would say, even if you know that they're not going to come to your hometown, it's still worth putting in there about what it is that you want. For example, if you also, like me, want an Omni model, let's try and push them to do that. Like I said, I think there's a small chance of that. But I do think this is going to be a huge deal as to whether they listen to the community and actually give the community what they want, and then they're going to come out looking really good, or they just go off and make something that's like a dumbed down reasoning model that perhaps is not that much better than anything that we've already got out there. And then there's going to be a backlash. So really is up to OpenAI now to either sort of put up or shut up in regards to open source. It's very interesting that we see with their new voice ASR stuff that it's seeming to be a lot better than the Whisper models that they released. And yet it seems that they're clearly not going to make that stuff open source anytime soon. So the other thing that you can always do is actually tweet at the people involved here. You've got Kevin Weil, the product manager from OpenAI. You've got Greg Brockman, one of the co-founders of OpenAI. Let them know what it is that you want to see in this open LLM. And I would say, don't be afraid to specify that we would like a base model. We would like something that's fine-tuned, perhaps to do reasoning, something that can clearly do function calling and some of the other bells and whistles that are out there. Because I'm very confident if the community response isn't overwhelming, then they're probably not going to go ahead by making the best model that is out there, etc. So looking at Sam Altman's most recent post, he's saying that they will not do anything silly like saying that you can't use the model if you have more than 700 million active users. Personally, I couldn't care less about that. Clearly, that's a jab at Meta, basically trying to stop TikTok from using their models, trying to stop Google from using their models. There are not many companies in the world that have over 700 million active users. And I would much prefer that they put out the best model that they could make and then limit it to who can actually use it, that only startups or companies below 100 million users can actually use it, then basically put out something that everyone can use, but it's clearly not the best thing that they could have done. Anyway, I've put the links for you to do the feedback in the description. I do think this is something worth all of our time to basically let OpenAI know what it actually is that we would like to see from an open model or even a family of open models. I would not be surprised if they go on to release multiple open models with perhaps a mobile version and a reasonably small version. Anyway, as I said, all the links are in the description. Please let me know what you think in the comments, etc. And I will talk to you in the next video. Bye for now.